Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. Well, it is the week of Valentine's Day when I will be posting this video, so I thought it would be fun just to talk about the makeup products that I really love. And I guess when you think of Valentine's Day, you probably think of couples, maybe, that might be somebody's first thought, couples, so two. So I thought it'd be cute to do my top two in every category, and when I tell you that some of these categories I have everything spread out everywhere, I struggled because there are easily some of these that I could do like a top five or more possibly, and now there were some things that I knew automatically, but some categories I struggle pretty badly with, but we'll get into that. But I thought it would also be nice to apply the products with you while I'm talking about them here on camera. So I'm going to start with my prep steps. Now, for eyeshadow primer, I do not have a favorite really because I've been kind of in and out of trying different ones. Right now, what I've been using is, aside from the Milani one, which if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know that that one used to be my absolute favorite, the only one I ever needed, but now sometimes it works for me and then some days it doesn't. So what I've also been using is the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder, and I really do like this one. As you can see, I have a pretty big pan in this, but now this is just a little mini, like a deluxe mini. This is not like the full size or anything, of course. I really do like it. I feel like if you apply a small amount of it, then your eyeshadows will stay, but I'm still on the hunt for the perfect one, but I'm trying to use up these two first before I move on. But I just wanted to mention that I am wearing this one today, but it's not like a top favorite for me. I'm still trying to find my favorite. For primer, this is an easy category for me. I knew right away. The e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, the one in the tub thing here. I know they have the liquid one, but I like this version better. I know they're probably about the same thing, but there's just something about this one that I like better. Now this is just the jumbo. They don't make the jumbo anymore, but this is just if you bought two of the regular size. And the other primer that I love is the Say Glowy Super Gel. Now this one is in a shade they recently brought back called Warm Glow. Now I have yet to use this shade. I did recently pick this up from Sephora and I'm so excited to try this one out. My all-time favorite shade is Star Glow. I've tried all the shades that they have so far. They have Star Glow, which is my favorite, Rose Glow, Sun Glow, and then they brought back Warm Glow. Now, I never did try Warm Glow, so we're going to try this one right here on camera. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit more. So instead of using the one from e.l.f. today, I do want to try this one out because I know that the e.l.f. one performs beautifully, and I really do love this one. I have gone through so many tubs of this. I know of at least 3 or 4 that I've gone through, and then I picked up the jumbo size, and honestly I could have the Say and this one in my collection and that'd be the only primer I'd ever need. So we're gonna try the Warm Glow shade. I have never tried this one, and that is what this looks like right there. So let's see how this looks. I don't know if it'll really have much of a... Also, if my skin turns pink, please ignore that. I have really sensitive skin, so when I rub my face like this, it turns pink. I just want to mention that in case anybody is new to my channel and they're watching this video. My skin's just really sensitive, so it turns pink, but it'll be fine once I stop doing this. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Honestly, I like it. I feel like if you have a very, well, like it says Warm Glow, if you have a warm undertone to your skin, you might really like that. Okay, I'm glad to say that now I've tried all the shades with this. I wish I had Star Glow currently in my collection. I don't. I've gone through so many of the Star Glow ones, but I don't currently have that one. I just have the Rose Glow and the Sun Glow. But I wish I had the Star Glow to compare this one to. Maybe I'll pick that one up the next time I make a Sephora purchase and compare them, because I'd like to really see what difference they would look like on my skin. So for me, what I like to do next is do like either a lip balm or some kind of lip treatment, just so that can be kind of sinking in while I'm doing the rest of my makeup. So I have two here. I have the Tower 28 Lip Softies. I have all 8 of them right here. I love this brand so very much. Anytime they release something, I want it, and I will more than likely buy it. I'm just going to be so honest about that. But I have all 8 shades here, including they brought back Confetti Cake, which I'm so happy about because when they had that one initially, I missed out. So I'm so happy they brought these back. Honestly, I love all of them. I love all of them. You can't go wrong. It just depends on kind of like what the scent you like. Now they are all tinted as well. Some of them are tinted a little bit more than others, so that kind of depends too. But All of them are good. But you know what? I think I'm going to pick this one. This is the Red Bean Mochi. Now, I love this because it's kind of like a My Lips But Better shade. So I'm going to pick this one for today. But before I apply that, the other lip balm, lip treatment type product is the Tower 28 Juice Bombs. Now, I have 3 of them. I think there are 4 or 5 in total, but I only have 3. I have Shake, Drink, and Mix, and these are so beautiful. They are they're quite pigmented on the lips too, especially the red one, so I'm going to swatch these for you. Since I'm not actually applying these on my lips today, I am going to be using one of the, so that one is the shade Shake, and these feel so comfortable on the lips, like they just feel so nice. They are some of my most favorites. Then we have the shade Mix, and then we have the shade Drink, which is incredibly pigmented, and what I love about that one is if you apply it kind of at the beginning of your routine, I feel like towards the end, it almost becomes like a stain, which I really do love that. In fact, I know that I shared a picture, it might have been like a week or so ago by now on my Instagram, and people loved the lip combo in that picture. In fact, what I'd started out with was that red shade and let that kind of stain my lips before I went in with like my lip liner and the products on top, so it's definitely a really good one. But let's go into my Tower 28 Lip Softy. This one is in Red Bean Mochi. And these are so good. Okay, I zoomed you back out because I'm about to talk about some eyeshadow palettes, and one of these is really large, so I have to zoom you out to be able to fit it into frame. But for eyeshadow palettes, my number one of all time, and if you're not new to my channel, then you will know, is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I love this palette so very much. I do actually have pan in one of the shades, and I really want to get more. Oh, I need to turn it because this palette reflects. I do want to achieve like more pans in this palette because this is like my all-time favorite, and I want it to show. But I dig into this palette all the time. I mean, it is so messy. I don't know how much on camera it will pick up, but it is so messy from the amount of times that I dig into it. It's such a beautiful palette. Honestly, I don't know if any palette would come along to top that one for me. The other one that I really love, honestly, I kind of struggled here because I love a lot of eyeshadow palettes, and really no other palette in my collection is on the same level as this one. But I wanted to kind of see maybe a palette that is kind of my most used so far in the year, and that would be this one right here. And I really do love this one. This is the Beauty Bay Neutral 42 Pan Palette. If you love neutral shades, you will absolutely love this palette. Honestly, any neutral shade you could possibly want is in here, and this one is gorgeous. If you watched my video that went up this past Monday, then you will know that I recently tried the Smoky 42 Pan Palette. I did not vibe with that palette in the slightest, but this one is beautiful, and I love this one so much, so I thought it would be a good thing to mention it. I do have other favorites, like I said, but I do have a lot of use on this one, and I can see this being one that I would continuously reach for because I love neutral shades. So these are the two here. Now, because I have a whole video on my channel, and it went up in January, I believe, where I did, I think, 7 eye looks with this palette, but I ended up having to do a total about 9 looks, like 2 extra looks off camera just to complete this palette, like use all the shades. But I do have that video up in case you're interested. So I might kind of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. I think I might use a shade or 2 from here and then maybe a shade in there. So let's just see kind of where I want to take this. So I'm going to take this blending brush from e.l.f. and I'm first going to go into the shade of Fair right here. And I'm going to kind of press that all over the lid. I didn't pick up too much. I'm just kind of stamping into it a couple of times and lightly tapping that over my lid. This does have just a little bit, it's kind of like maybe a shade darker than my skin tone. So honestly, it's a perfect one for me to just do like almost like a one and done if I want. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other eye. Just kind of tap that all around. Just really making sure my eyeshadow primer is nice and set. Of course, I'm not going to do too much on the eyes today, but I did want to at least use a shade or 2 from each palette. And if the idea of 42 shadows in the other palette, like you don't really want a palette that large, they do make a 9-pan version and a 16-pan version. I only picked up the 42 because when I purchased it, it was during the holidays and it was heavily discounted. It was like $12, $13 somewhere in there. So I just felt like that was probably the best deal to get that many shadows for that price, but if you don't really want a palette that large, then they do have the other two options. Because see, I wish I had done that with the smoky palette and not gotten that really large palette. Okay, I'm going to go over to the Beauty Bay palette, and I'm going to take the shade Bangle. I don't know, do I want to use my finger or do I want to just use a brush? You know what, let me try. I'm just going to take that same blending brush and I'm just going to tap into that a couple of times just to get a light wash of sparkle on the brush. And then kind of place it over the lid. We are doing the barest of minimums here. I honestly just don't really want a lot of eyeshadow right now. I think it's because I also just finished filming 7 looks with that Beauty Bay palette, and then I had to do 2 more off camera to do like to finish that palette and my no pan left behind. So honestly, I just don't really want to do much eyeshadow today. I kind of want to keep it very soft and just barely there kind of thing. And so I think that just looks so pretty, like it's just a touch of shimmer. Now you can build this shade up with your finger if you want to, but I'm just trying to keep it really soft. I just want something soft and delicate. You know what? Another shade that would have been pretty was this rose shade. You know what? I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to go into this rose shade. I'm going to see what that would look like over the top. Adds a little bit more glow. Nothing too intense, which I'm fine with. I didn't really want a lot anyway. Okay, so I can go ahead and finish up the lower lash line. I'm going to next talk about correctors. Now, my all-time favorite is the Cali Ray Hideaway and Brightening Under Eye. I think this is like, they call it the Brightening and Hydrating Under Eye Serum Concealer. This one's in the shade Pale Sun, and I love this one so much because of this tone. I don't even have to put a concealer over the top of this shade if I don't want to, but I am today because I have some concealers here I'm going to talk about. But I can wear this shade all on its own, and I love that because, I mean, especially if maybe you're running late one morning or you just want a little bit of makeup on for the day, you don't want to wear too much, but you want to kind of cover up anything you might have, any kind of discoloration, this is definitely what I would reach for. But I do also really love the Smashbox and Becca Under Eye Corrector. This one's in Fair Light. As you can see, I have huge pan in this, and this has been in my collection for a long time, and I'm still working my way through it. I do think this one's nice. It just kind of depends on the option, whether you want one in a little pot or you like the more liquid kind. I do like this one for more convenience sake, but this one is still a good option, so I wanted to mention it because it is really good. So I'm just going to take a dot on each side, and I like to take my finger and just kind of blend that out. Can take a brush too if you want. And it's just perfect really on its own. Now for my concealer, I have 2 here. One is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, and this one is in the shade BH. And then the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, which is in the shade Y1. Now I'm going to wear the Natasha Denona one on my under eyes today. I'm going to be wearing this one on my face a little bit because I like to mix this one in with one of the foundations I'm going to mention today. So I'll use this one on the face, and we're going to use this one on the under eyes, and this is a really lovely concealer. Most YouTubers I've watched love this one. They wear it as foundation, they wear it on their under eyes. I've worn it both ways as well, and it really is a lovely concealer. So I'm just going to take a little dot of that, and we're going to blend that out too. I feel like it does have really good coverage as well. But it's not like a very thick formula, or at least I don't feel like it is, because it doesn't make my under eyes look, you know, extra crinkly. Like some more thicker concealers, or like these fuller coverage concealers, I feel like are just too much. They're too heavy looking on my under eyes. But this one is really perfect. This is a really lovely one. Okay, I'm just going to take a small angled brush from e.l.f. and we're going to go into the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm going to use the shade Fair and Mesh, just kind of dip once into each. And I'm going to run that all along the lower lash line. And from this palette, I'm going to take the shade Mia, and we're going to pop that right there on that inner corner. Okay, for mascara, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. I have three, but two of them are tied. Okay, so we're just gonna pretend, okay? We're just gonna pretend it's two. The first one is the Refi Lash Sculpt. Now this just comes in a black shade right now. I would love to see them come out with a brown. And this is the one that has that really curved wand. This is a beautiful mascara. For me, on my lashes, it really holds a curl. It's one of those that dries really quickly, so it really sets in your curl. For me, it gives me much more length than volume, which I'm fine with because that's usually what I prefer anyway, but it's a beautiful mascara. The next mascara is the Tower 28 Make Waves. Now, this one is in the shade Drift, which is the brown. I also have the shade Jet, which is the black. Both of them are good, and this one to me gives me kind of like both. It gives me like the volume and the length, but a little bit more volume with this one than length. But I still think this is an absolutely beautiful mascara, and all of these, no smudging, no flaking, or anything like that. The next one is from e.l.f. This is their Lash and Roll Mascara, and this one is in the deep brown shade. This one reminds me a lot of the Tower 28, but I think what the biggest difference I noticed from my lashes is while this one gives me volume and length, I feel like it gives me a little bit more length than the Tower 28 does. But honestly, all of these are just really good mascaras. I'm going to be applying the e.l.f. one, so I'm going to do that right quick off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so for foundation, here is where I really struggle because I have several favorite foundations, and it was hard to narrow it down. Now, one of them I already knew. My most favorite is from Tower 28. This is their Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen. Now, this one's in the shade 10 Larchmont. I want to go down a shade. After I finish this tube, I am going to be going down to the lightest shade, which I'm not sure what the shade name is, but I want to go down to the lightest shade. This one is just a little bit too dark for me, so that's why I've been mixing the concealer with this kind of on my face to make it kind of a little bit more of a match for me, but I love this stuff. I've gone through a whole tube of this and repurchased it, and for me that really says something because I have quite a lot of foundations in my collection, and I don't really go through them that much because I have so many. I try to rotate them around, but because I'm doing that, I don't really focus enough on one, I feel like, to really use it up, but no. I've used one of these up completely, and this is my second one. Now, the other foundation is where I struggle because if you would have asked me the same question in December, I would have told you the Patrick Ta, what is his called? Like the glowy skin or super skin. I can't think of the full name. Luminous skin. I can't think of the full name of it, but his foundation. I would have told you that one. And I still love that one very much. I also really love the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. I really love that one. But there was one that I had in my everyday makeup drawer last month, and it was this one from Ilia. This is the Skin Rewind Complexion Stick, and mine's in 3W Spruce. I don't know what it was, but I loved using this so much last month that I really honestly hated taking it out for this month, and that's why I wanted to mention it here as my second favorite because it was hard to really pick between this one, the Makeup by Mario one, and the Patrick Ta one because I love them just as much as well. So I don't know, I guess just really honestly I would say them too. I like them as well, but I am gonna really I think I'm gonna give the spot to this one. I loved using this last month. I loved it. I just liked the convenience of a foundation stick, and this was one that I felt like actually blended out really easily. I know some foundation sticks can be a little bit harder to move around on your skin, and they're kind of a little bit annoying, but this one I really did love. So this is honestly, yeah, I think I made the right decision putting this one in my number 2 spot. We are going to be using the Tower 28 ones, and I feel like, well, this is in my everyday makeup drawer, so I want to get as much use out of this as possible. And because we're talking about foundation and all that, I like to spray my brush with my setting spray. Now, there is no second option for setting spray. The only one I have in my collection, and honestly the only one that I'll continue to repurchase, is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is just a mini here. I've gone through 2 minis, I believe, by now, or one, I'm not sure, 1 or 2 minis, and then I have this one, then I have one other mini over there that I haven't opened yet, but I love the setting spray. Honestly, it's the only one that I feel like I need. So there isn't a second option for that, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to spray my foundation brush, and then I like to take a little bit of my Tower 28 Sunny Days, and put it on the back of my hand, like so, and then I like to spread it kind of out on the back of my hand, kind of really shear it out, like that. And then I'm going to take my concealer, and I'm going to do like a little line like that. Now this, I like to wear this as foundation as well, and honestly I would have done that today too, but I'm going to show you some other things too. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that with this brush. This is the Love is the Foundation brush from It Cosmetics. I don't know if they brought it back. They usually bring it back during Valentine's Day, but I don't know if they did this time. But you can just look how beautifully that blends out. I just think it's, I don't know, I love that stuff from Tower 28. Both the concealer and the tinted sunscreen. And I love this brush. I wish they'd bring this brush back. I don't know why they don't. Right, same thing. We're going to do a little line. This is just really to match. Kind of help it match a little bit more. I mean, the foundation isn't off like that much, but it's a little noticeable because I no longer wear a tinted sunscreen on my neck. I'm just wearing my regular sunscreen. So when I'm not doing that, some of these foundations like this one, where I have the second shade in the lineup and not the first, there's a little bit of a difference between them and my neck. But if I had a tinted sunscreen on my neck again, you would be able, it would look like a perfect match. But while I'm using this tube up, I'm just going to be mixing it with my concealer. And then I'm going to go down a shade for the next time that I buy this, because I already know I'm going to be going through another tube of this stuff because I love it that much. It's just perfect. Alright, and then same thing, we're going to take some of this on the forehead, pick up the last little bit that's on my hand, and the foundation stick from Ilia, it's another one that blends out really beautifully. Like, I don't have to worry about it not blending really well because it blends perfectly. You can see just how pretty, look how beautiful and glowy. Of course, I know I'm also wearing the Say, and I know I have my sunscreen underneath, which has a little bit of glow to it, but it's just beautiful. Now, if you don't really like glowy products, then no, you would not like all of this, but I like glow. Now, I try to set more so in my T-zone because I do get a little bit oily in there, but for this part of my face, I like to leave some glow, some shine. Okay, before I go in with any powder, I want to talk about my bronzer because I have two options here that are both like cream and liquid, so I need to use these first before I go in and set my face. The first one is, of course, from Tower 28. This is their Sculptino in the shade Broad. This is really beautiful and incredibly pigmented. A little bit of this goes a long way. Okay, bronzers was another category that I struggle with because I also really love my Charlotte Tilbury, her bronzer, like the big round one that she has, I think the airbrush bronzer. I love that one. I love the Sunstalker bronzer from Fenty, the House Labs bronzer, and the NYX Buttermilk. I love all of those. So it was really hard to pick a second favorite, but ultimately I went for this one because I just love how absolutely beautiful and natural this looks on the skin. This is from Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum, and this one's in the shade Fair. And this one has like the doe foot applicator, but then it also has a pump, so you can use it either way. I just really love how natural this is. So we are going to be wearing this one today, but the Tower 28 one is phenomenal. Now I could use, like, you know what, let's just use the pump this time instead of using the little doe foot applicator. So I'll just put one pump on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to take that same foundation brush, and we're just going to go over here. It shears out to just so natural of a bronze, and I think that's ultimately why I picked it. And it's such an easy to work with formula. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It's already blended. It's perfect. But all the other ones that I mentioned, I love those too. You know, I don't want it to sound like those are not good. They are. I think that this one just is so easy. You're done. That's it. That's all you need. It's so easy. And, you know, and now you could always, of course, have one of those to put on the top, but because I picked both a cream and a liquid, I didn't pick a powder option this time. But I mean, It's so beautiful and natural, and that's what I am personally looking for. Okay, for blush, I have a cream option and then I have a powder option. The cream, we're going to start with the cream because I am going to apply a cream one, and then after I set my face, I am going to put the powder over the top. But of course, it's my Tower 28, the Beach Please cream bronzers. I have 5 shades here. 4 of them are a little bit more newer to my collection, and one of them I've had the longest, but these are beautiful. And Tower 28 is coming out with powder blushes. So you better believe I am going to be grabbing all of them, and I will be doing a review here on my channel. I mentioned actually to one of you had commented and asked me a question on my video, and I actually mentioned to you that I have a little fund set aside for Tower 28 because you asked me about a makeup budget. That's absolutely true. I set aside stuff for Tower 28 because when they launch stuff, I don't want any other brand to interfere. I want this. So when they release their powder blushes, yeah, I'm going to be buying them. So now, the powder blush that I'm going to be using is, I love this one so much. This is from Milani. This is the Rose Powder Blush in Romantic Rose. This is the only blush in my collection that I have ever repurchased. The only one. It is so beautiful if you have fair skin. This shade. Because you see, it's so light. I mean, you can build it up, of course, but it's just a really beautiful, light, very peachy, neutral shade. It is so beautiful, but you know what? I feel like it's becoming a little harder to find outside of like maybe Walmart. I know that they still sell this one at Walmart or the one that's near me, but I am afraid that it's eventually going to be a blush that they might discontinue, and I'm going to hate to see that. But because I want to put this one over the top, so I need to pick out a shade. So just to show you all the shades that I have, here's the one that I've had the longest. This one is in the shade Magic Hour, After Hours, Dream Hour, Party Hour, and Rush Hour. Okay, I just dug my finger into that. Let me fix that right quick. Okay, yeah, that's probably about the best I'm going to make it. I just dug my finger right into it. Honestly, I feel like Magic Hour is probably going to be the closest one. I hate that I dug my finger into that one. Ew. And I feel like it went under my press-on, which makes it even worse. And ugh, I put a dent in it. Ew. Honestly, I really do love these, and I'm still missing a few of the shades, so I don't quite yet have the full collection, but you know, if I ever, which I mean, yeah, right, keep dreaming. If I ever got through my other cream and liquid blushes, if I was that type of person, honestly, I probably would just have their cream blushes and I'd be fine. Okay, I think the closest to that Milani would be Magic Hour. So I am going to take that same brush. I did wipe it off some while ago on a silicone mat. Like this, and these are incredibly pigmented. A little goes a long way. I can't wait to try their powder blushes. I am so excited. Yeah, I feel like this one is definitely going to be the closest to that Milani. And I'll kind of set over all of this with powder, so the powder might tone that down a little bit because I'll make sure I set over it. And I will say that for these cream blushes, now the powder blush from Milani of course lasts, but I just want to mention since these are creams, because I know sometimes people ask about, you know, longevity with these types of products. Now I can only speak for me. I get more oily in here, not so much out on this place. So if you have like, your skin is oily period, I don't know about these, how long they might last. But on me, they last all day. I've even gone outside with them. I try to walk every single day, at least 30 minutes a day, most if not longer. And I'm out there sometimes sweaty. Sometimes you get a little sweaty because it keeps getting hot and cold here where I live. In fact, one of these days that it was really hot here, I was wearing one of these cream blushes and it looked fine when I come in. It was still there, still strong, so I just wanted to bring that up in case you were wondering about the longevity of these creams. Okay, for powder, I have pressed and loose powder here. Now, I have a few shades in both of them, but just, you know, the first one is from Tower 28. This is their Get Set Pressed Powder. Now, this one is in the translucent shade. However, I also have the Palisades pink one as well. But now I will say this one is still kind of more so on the translucent side. It's barely pink tinted. So if pink powders have never really worked for you, try this one if you were interested, because I feel like this one is not too pink. I feel like it's just a slight bit. So this is the pressed powder option. Now the loose powder is, of course, my one size ultimate setting powder. Now this one is in the Ultra Peach, and then I have this little teeny tiny sample of the Ultra Pink. Now this one is definitely pink, 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 pink. So if you don't like pink powder, you definitely want to avoid this one. It's very pink. Now this shade works really well with my skin tone, but probably after I finished it, I would go back to the translucent. I did have a translucent in this, and I completely finished that one up. And I probably would go back to that one, just because I just like that one. But this one, hoping you can see it, this one works good for me as well. So I'm going to take, this is a Flawless Face Brush from e.l.f. And I'm going to pick some up, and then I'm going to press it into the cap, kinda. This is a very intense mattifying powder. And I'm just going to kind of tap it. We're going to go over the blush and everything, because I am going to put that powder blush on top. And you can see just how much it quickly mattifies. Like, look at that. It is a good powder. I do like the pink one, but the pink one is one that I have to only keep like right in there, because it is just too pink to put on the rest of my face, at least for me. Because I have more of a warm undertone, so I have to be a little bit more careful with those pink powders. I do like this one, but I probably would more than likely want to go back to the translucent, because I just love a good translucent powder. Okay, so we're going to go into my powder blush. So I'm going to wipe off that Flawless Face Brush. And we're going to pick up some of that like this, and then I like to tap it into the cap. We're going to press that over it a little bit. I know you're mostly going to be seeing that Tower 28, because that Tower 28 is incredibly pigmented, but I feel like you can still see this one. But this is a little bit more on the warm tone side, so it's gonna kind of, might not match this shirt, my little pink balloon dog earrings very much, but it's okay. Okay, and then next for my brows, of course, my Kosas Brow Pop Pencil and then my Kosas Air Brow Gel. These two together, and I love this packaging. Look how pretty that is. Ooh. These two together are perfect. So I'm just going to do my brows right quick off camera. I mean, that's probably a boring step. I mean, all of this could be boring to somebody, but I feel like the brows and applying mascara and then doing the brows is probably the most boring parts. So I'm going to do that right quick off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that the brows are done, and I have not used my Air Brow Gel in a while because I've been trying to go through some of my other brow gels, but honestly, those Kosas products, they're all I need. So lip liners would be next. I have, of course, my one-liner multi-liners from Tower 28. You can wear these on your eyes, cheeks, and lips, but now, as I've mentioned many times, I've only ever worn them on the lips. I've never worn them on the cheeks or the eyes. I just prefer them as lip liners, and these are my all-time favorites. They have 6 shades, which I have right here, and they are all so beautiful. But the other set of liners that I have that I think are really nice are these from e.l.f. I have 6 shades of theirs. Now, they have 8 or 9 shades, and I don't have all of them. Now, these are the e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liners, and these are really good. These are $2. These are really good. Now, I think, honestly, between the 2 lines here, they would honestly have all that I need. They do have over here, I think they have a red. I'm missing a red. Is that the only one left? I'm not sure. I can't remember how many shades there are in these. But I know there's a red. But honestly, if I picked up the red shade between these 2 sets, I would have everything I needed as far as lip liner. I think these are just really good. And they're what I love. I love a wooden lip pencil that you can sharpen. Those are my favorites. So these are so good. All of them. I feel like if somebody told me you can only use 2 brands for the rest of your life, Tower 28 and e.l.f. Cosmetics would probably be those brands. I just think that they have really amazing products. So I use the Tower 28 ones a lot. So I use those a lot on camera. So we'll use one of these today from e.l.f. Now let's see. Honestly, the eyes started out a little bit more pinky, but then between the blush that went kind of like a peachy nude. So honestly, I think any of these, what's this one? Okay, we have Truth or Bear. I think that one might be a good option. I don't know, I think either of those would work. What's the other one called? Baddest Beige. Okay, I think, yeah, one of them will work. Baddest Beige and Truth or Bare. Yeah, I think Truth or Bare is the best option because it's got a little bit of that warmth to it. So yeah, we're going to go with that one, which is this one right here, right? Yeah, Truth or Bare. What I like to do is line my whole entire lip, fill in the top lip, and then blot it down to transfer it to the lower one. So, oh yeah, that's a perfect color. And then line here, and then fill in the top, and then blot down. And that's perfect. Okay, for lipstick, I have the Lawless Forget the Filler lipstick in Wedding Day, which I'm going to swatch that for you. This is one of my all-time favorite shades. I think it's such a pretty pinky nude. And then, of course, my original top favorite of all time is the e.l.f. Eau Face Satin Lipstick in the shade Dirty Talk, which is that one right there. I think I'm going to go in with this one, especially since I'm wearing one of their lip liners. So I'm going to take this. Yeah, that's pretty. I like that. Okay, and then for lip gloss, I also put lip gloss and lip oils in the same category together. And the ones here we go again, Tower 28 no. We have the Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jellies, and then we have the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oils. Now, these three are the shimmer finish. I also have some that are like don't have the shimmer, but I specifically wanted to mention these because I love the shimmer in these. These are stunning. These are both amazing. I've completely used up one of these before, and I just love these, so I'm trying to decide here. Should I use an e.l.f. one? You know what, maybe let's use the Tower 28 since we use both an e.l.f. lip liner and lipstick. We're going to use one of these. Now, this one is in the shade Iced Pistachio. Now, this was a limited edition shade. This has some shimmer in it. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up or not. But basically, it's their pistachio shade, but with shimmer in it. These were limited edition, but I wish they would bring the iced versions back because I feel like they're so beautiful, and I personally love, like, a shimmer in a gloss a little bit. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a plain one, but then sometimes you want a little bit of sparkle. So we're going to apply this one over the top. Okay, so here is this full face of these makeup products. Well, I mean, of course, what I could use, but honestly, all of these products are so beautiful. And then, like I said, there are many, many more in my collection that I really love. It's hard to narrow them down. I know that every category had something from Tower 28, except for they don't have eyeshadow yet or brow products. I'm hoping that will come eventually, but I feel like a lot of e.l.f. was featured today. I know Makeup by Mario, of course, you know, I love all of these brands. I think their products are amazing, but I guess at the end of the day, if somebody told me I had to pick just two brands, one drugstore and one more higher end, I know Tower 28 is not super high end. I think they're kind of like the mid-price range a little bit. I mean, it just, you know, kind of depends, but I'm just going to say high end just for argument's sake. So one drugstore brand, one high end brand, it would be Tower 28 and e.l.f. Cosmetics. I think that both of them are incredible. They make some incredible products. So, but honestly, there's so many good makeup products. It's really hard to choose sometimes. I struggled with some of these categories. I really had to narrow it down. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads. All of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. And let me know, what are your favorite makeup products? I love talking with you in the comments. I would love to hear about your favorites, maybe products that are constant repurchases for you that you go through because you just love them so much. Just please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!